Hello everyone, my name is Celine and this is 15 Craft Show Promising Solutions in Treating Diabetic Ulcers. I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit. I'm 20 years old and I'm a sophomore at OTC. I really like to figure out the unknowns, which is why I do doing research. Long story short, a coworker of my dad in the past, they used to work in the same construction site, and he had diabetes type 2. He was careless one day and he stepped over a nail which just punctured into his foot, and the wound started to expand it over years. Eventually it ate up his blood vessels and bones. Unfortunately, he has to amputate the entire leg, which sparked my interest in today's topic. What are diabetic ulcers and why it's so serious? Well, first, diabetic patients heal wounds very slowly because of poor circulation to the wounds. As you can see here, because of the high blood glucose in the blood vessels, so it causes red blood cells to clotting up as well as fat molecules to clotting up, cause very small room for blood to circulate through the entire body and to the wound. So whenever a diabetic patient had an injury, then because the poor circulation to the wound, it will expand more and become ulcers. Second is nephropathy, which is impaired sensations. It is the inability to feel pain or sharp objects because of nerve damage. As you can see here, because of the blood vessels have been inflamed, it will cause nerve damage and you can't do anything when you have injuries. As you can see here is the X-ray pictures of progressions and complications of foot ulcers. On the left is the healthy and non-diabetic foot X-ray, and here is at 4 weeks, the wound started to transforming into an ulcers. It started eating up the vessels and the skin layers, and at 16 weeks, the ulcers started to turn down to beyond way the skin layers to the blood vessel and eventually to the bone. At this point, these patients may have to amputate the entire foot or leg. It's even more concerning when we consider the number of diabetes patients in USA. For the past 2 years, we have 37.3 million Americans have diabetes, while 2 million Americans develop diabetic foot ulcers. And unfortunately, 14 to 24% of patients have to amputate their legs or foot. Well, so what are the current medical methods to treat these diabetic ulcers? Well, the first one is taking pressure off the area. Basically, you just let the patient use crutches or wheelchairs. The second one is called debridement, which you do minor surgery up here and then you take off the ulcers for the natural cells to grow. But the shortcoming of that one is diabetic patients, there's not really guarantee that they won't gonna heal because of infections and as well for circulation to the wound area. The last one is skin graft, but it really depends on the assessment and severe level. So there are many types of skin graft options, which are permanent autograft, which you use human skin from your own body from one area to the wounded area. This one has a shortcoming because for diabetic patients, when you take a new skin healthy tissues, you're creating new wounds, and now this wound potentially can become an ulcers, and you have 2 ulcers to worry about. The second one is temporary skin graft. You have xenograft, which is using animal skin, and pig skin graft has become very common and mainstream these days. However, again, because pig skin graft have very similar structure to human skin graft, it may induce the immune system as well as create inflammations, which make the wound even worse. The second one is allograft, which means you take the skin graft from cadaver, and it also induces the immune system as well. So it leads us to our today research question. Is there any alternative skin graft approach that will avoid inflammations? And one company called Kerecis found out that the Atlantic cod is the best skin graft for this diabetic ulcers problem. One of the advantages is that we can see that it has the same layers as human skin. Here's the epidermis, here's the dermis, and here's the hypodermis. But they have a scale layers which will be genetically removed by scientists before applications. Not only that, this skin graft is very porous and it's very rich in omega-3 fatty acid, and this will stimulate cell ingrowth or just to make the new cells grow faster. It also has functions in antimicrobial and antiviral, which is not similar to mammalian skin. Okay, the good news is that the Kerecis company developed a model that they first select a random number of patients with a random number of ulcers. They divide into two groups, interventional group where you get the skin graft treatment, and the control group where you just get a standard care treatment. There will be 10 applications in total, and each time you apply, you should have to take off the skin graft, and then you debride the ulcers, and then you reapply the skin graft again over 16 weeks. After 16 weeks, these two groups will receive the standard treatment care, the same, as well as follow-up appointment. So one company in Virginia replicated this experiment by comparing Carapace graft versus standard treatment. It involved 64 patients. For Carapace graft, they can see that patients at 6 weeks, already 20% wounds of this group heal, but for the standard treatment, only 0% heal. And at 12 weeks, 67% wounds of this group heal, and the standard treatment only 32% heal. So we can see the significant difference. More evidence, another study conducted 51 patients with ulcers, and after the skin graft treatment right here, it shows that the average wound area reductions by 87.57%. The fully wound heals are 60.34%. Only 2 wounds did not heal at all, and 1 wound required 2 more applications for which you need to debride it and then you reapply. And 15 more wounds required 3 more debridement and at 36 weeks. Another one also comprised 11 studies with 757 patients with 759 foot or leg ulcers from 2019 to 2021. As you can see in the pie chart, the percentage of healed ulcers is very large, 80.5%, while infected ulcers is 4.1. This one is that the immune system may cause a response, or germs may enter the wound area, which causes inflammations. And this one is regrafting ulcers, 11.4%, and recurrence ulcers is 4.0%. So as you can see, the healed ulcer percentage is so much more larger than the other complications. Well, this study is very new to the research, so we don't have really a lot of reviews from patients who undergo this treatment. We only have one example, which is professional weightlifting and bench pressing, Dennis Renault. He has a scratch one day and his wound started to expand it. And his pre-operation pain level is 10 out of 10. He has to undergo a lot of debridement, and he described that there was time that it hurt so much that I asked the doctor just to cut off my legs. However, after the operation's pain level, he described that his pain has dramatically reduced. He's able to stand without crutches. His life was improved drastically. Patients was also reported that he can wear socks, shoes, travel, and go to work like he used to do. So it's come to conclusions that fish skin, I theorize that fish skin is a viable option due to several reasons. They are porous, they are omega-3 rich in their skin, which prevent antimicrobial, antiviral, compared to mammalian skin grafts. They don't need genetically modified like the pig skin one. Also, during the process of gathering data and information about this research, I have found that not a lot of people know about diabetic ulcers as well as the complications. So I encourage educational information spread or patient educations, and I think it's a good thing for us to printing out accessible information booklets in doctor office or hospital desk office. In the future, I plan to apply to medical school, and I also plan to continue conducting research about the skin graft. I also found out that the skin graft, not only for diabetic ulcers, but also for burn wounds, which is very popular. That means that the skin graft can be expanded more for its use. And the third one is also, again, most patients don't really know much about the complications of diabetic ulcers as well. Most of them are elderly, since there is research saying that elderly's lack of knowledge and the complications of diabetes. So I recommend healthcare professionals and doctors to track monthly follow-up as well as general examinations like blood testing, just for them to know that they have diabetes, and it will be the best to prevent these ulcers complications rather than it's too late to find it. Thank you very much.